Hi, I'm Andrea Harmon with the Elder Law Firm, and I am going to be speaking with Tammy Blakely with Golden Living. Hi, Tammy.
Hey, Andrea, how are you? Thank
Good.
you for having me.
Thank you for coming today. Tammy, I want to start off first by talking about your role at Golden Living. I know you have a unique role, and we're going to be speaking about the two communities that you represent here in Greensboro, Golden Living of Starmount and Golden Living of Greensboro. And so, can you tell us a little bit about your title and your role with Golden Living?
Well, my true title is Patient Transition Liaison,
Okay.
and basically I am an RN who goes and assesses the residents to make sure that they're appropriate for skilled rehab for one of our locations there in Greensboro. I help try to coordinate with the social workers to make sure that it's as seamless as possible as far as the admission goes. If they're clinically complex, making sure if they have wounds, oxygen, I coordinate all of that from the social worker to the facility to make sure that we're very well prepared for them.
Okay.
I am also available to talk to families and residents in the hospital or at home. I have home health call me, and I can go out and do home evaluations as well. But I try to make sure that the families are very knowledgeable and set expectations. I think we find more success in that when you set some guidelines and just some expectations for them. And they usually have a lot of questions for me, and we try to go through all of that.
Great. So when you say you're a liaison, do you spend most of your time at the hospital or?
Yes, yes, I do. I go to Moses Cone and Wesley Long. I have a couple of outlying hospitals that I go to as well, but primarily it's Moses Cone and Wesley Long. And I work with the social workers. I visit our residents that we may have in the hospital, as a service, just to make sure everything's good with them. Their stay had been, well. If they have any concerns, I address those as well with the facility so that we can get them back to the facility, happy, hopefully.
That's great. That sounds like a wonderful service, and I'm sure that when they see a familiar face come into the hospital, that's a real comfort.
It is, and I have some that I joke with that I think they just came to the hospital just to see me. I told them we were going to have to quit that. I'd go see them at the facility, but we do. That helps a lot, and the family members to have that, person to talk to. I also give them my cell phone number, so they feel free to call me. After hours, I'm available 24/7, and that makes them feel more at ease too. And a lot of times it's just to answer questions that they may not know.
That's wonderful. Well, let's speak a little bit about each community individually.
Okay.
Let's start off with Golden Living of Starmount.
Okay. It is a 126-bed facility. It is a two-story facility, the directors of nursing, the administrator, that we have a lot of longevity with our staff there, which makes it really nice. We are one of the older facilities in the area, but I think that speaks volumes, for us, that we've been here so long and we're used to giving the quality of care that they need. And then, they have physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. We have a company, Aegis Therapies. They are an umbrella under Golden Living, and they are available to us, and basically based on what the physician orders, whether it be 5 days a week, 6, 7 days a week, how many ever times a week, 1, twice a day, they can provide that. So that's very nice that they're able to do that for us. The nursing department has a lot of high complexity that they do. At that certain facility, we have 3 wound care specialist nurses, which is great. And so that covers everybody through the weekend, to make sure that those dressing changes and anything that needs to be done from a wound care standpoint is taken care of. We also have nurses that provide the medications. Some, centers I know, have a med tech to do that. that. We have, nurses to be able to do that. And then, of course, we have the CNAs to be able to provide the basic caring for them, their bathing, dressing, some of that. If our therapy department, if that's not one of their tasks, to work with them.
Right.
We have a good variety. Our business office manager is awesome. She's able to help the families do a Medicaid application so that they don't have to go back down to Department of Social Services. So we try to we pride ourselves in trying to make things as easy as possible for the families.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I know you had mentioned to me that they take some complexity with the residents there that some facilities don't. Can you speak a little bit about that?
We can. We have an actual congestive heart failure program and COPD program that we follow the guidelines of the hospital, and we work with the physicians in those, either a cardiologist or a pulmonologist, whichever one. We follow their guidelines of what they would like to see, basically just like they're doing in the hospital.
Okay.
If they need IV Lasix, we're able to provide that. We do IV Milrinone drip, which no other facilities do that. And they've been doing it for close to 2 years now.
That's great.
So they are, very knowledgeable of what to do. We work closely with the IV team, from the hospital, and they give us any support that we may need. We also, do trach patients.
Wow.
And, we have a respiratory therapist that comes, at least once a week just to help support. Of course, the nurses are very trained in that, but that gives an added support to them, and that makes a lot of difference as well. There's just a variety of things. We transport to dialysis and to appointments. I personally had a family member at the Golden Limb Center Starmount that she had to go for orthopedic appointments. So the van driver dropped her off. I met them at the appointment, and all I had to do was call the van driver and say, "We're ready to be picked up," and then she was right there.
That's
so
great.
it worked out very nicely. And then she brought her back to the facility with whatever she needed at that time. So it's just nice to, have that, I guess, close-knit. I can pick up the phone and call the director of nursing or the administrator to discuss any issues that families may have, I may have, because, I have a passion for the elderly. So if I'm not happy with the answers, I go further with it,
Right.
To keep asking so that I make sure I feel comfortable with it, and so does the family or the resident.
Great. And if someone wanted to come to the Starmount building, what's the best way for the family to start that process?
Well, if they come from the hospital, typically they'll have a social worker, and then they'll send the information over to the facility. We review it to make sure that we can medically meet the need, and then once they accept, or if they have questions, a lot of times the social workers will call me and say, a family has questions about your facility, can you come and visit them? So I coordinate a time with them and with all the family, resident, whoever it needs to be, and we discuss, any questions that they may have, and then I go back to the social worker to let them know that I've addressed everything, they've accepted our bed offer, and then I try to coordinate with the facility,
Okay.
of any needs.
That's great. Well, let's switch gears for a moment and let's talk about the facility Golden Living of Greensboro. What makes that facility unique?
Well, they are a 101-bed facility. They are close to the hospital in Moses Cone. They are a block away.
Okay.
And so some people, of course, like that. We also have physicians that come to both locations 3 to 5 times a week. But at this particular location on Carolina Street, the physician's office is only a block away too. So that makes it convenient if we have any issues. If they're not there, they can run by real quick and take a look at it and fix whatever needs to be done.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Do they do the therapy there at the Greensboro location?
They do. We have short-term and long-term. We try to designate with both facilities, short and long-term. But that does not mean that they're not going to see long-term care patients. We try to keep them, differentiated. And so we do have a short-term rehab unit, and then at the end of that unit is our rehab gym. And then, of course, on the other side of the building is more of our long-term residents. But this building goes in a circle or a square, and then they have a courtyard in the middle.
Okay.
So they like that as well, so they can go out into the courtyard, and we have a Activities has a gardening club where they go out and the residents help garden, and they really enjoy that. We've also had a wedding out there.
Oh, neat.
So we try to make it as individualized to the resident as possible. Every family and resident is unique, and so we try to get the information up front of everything that they're going through, whether it be a divorce, a loved one passing away, whatever those circumstances are. We try to get that information up front, so that our staff is aware and we can better care for and acknowledge those things.
Right, make it visualized.
Exactly.
Now, at the Greensboro location, do they take the complexity with the trachs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do all of the clinically complex patients with the congestive heart failure, the COPD program. We have all of that. They also transport to dialysis. We have something unique for both centers, actually, that it's called a automated delivery unit. And basically what that is a medication dispensing system, which has over 300 medications in it. So when our resident comes from the hospital for an admission, they don't have to wait for the pharmacy to deliver their medications.
That's great.
Unless it's something, extreme, but they typically put the top 300 in there. And that has helped with pain management and different things for the resident, and we've seen great success with that.
That's great.
Yeah. And I try to tell the families too, or the resident, try to get something for pain before you leave. And then, because of course orders have to be verified and everything, and we don't want them to be in pain.
Right.
So that's part of my role, to try to, talk with them and make sure that they, are aware of that, because a lot of times they don't know.
And I think that's important for the families and the residents. It probably makes things a lot smoother in the transition.
It does. It does. Talking to them about the different things, the medications, even equipment. They may have a wound or with a wound back that supplies need to come over. I'll take the supplies over to the center to make sure that they have those and that they're ready for the patient when they come. So that has seemed to help, to make that admission as seamless as possible.
That's great. And when someone wants to come into the community, it's just a matter of contacting you to set that up, or?
They can contact me, or they can contact either center. And if the person is at home, then we will coordinate with the family to do a home evaluation. If they're in the hospital, we'll coordinate with the social worker and get the information, and then I can go and talk to the family or resident.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Tammy. This has been very informative and helpful. I appreciate you taking the time to speak to us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. This is Andrea Harmon with the Elder Law Firm. Thank you for tuning into this segment.